front. When you add a turbo to an engine bay, I'm sorry, but unless you're going stupid huge, it just adds piping and complexity and more piping, and it just doesn't look cool.
I'll give you that 100%. I've seen that Edelbrock setup on an ND here locally. Obviously not the same setup, but Edelbrock has an E-Force for the ND as well.
Yeah.
It looks very OEM, but better.
So before we start this video, I need to have a serious moment with all of you. If you're watching this and you have not subscribed, you need to hit that little subscribe button right there. I have a reason, though, this time. Instead of just making the numbers go up and making me and Steven's dopamine triggers count, we need to hit 100. Because at this point, Broken Axle has been around long enough where we can actually have a custom URL minus the fact that we're down about 46 subscribers. So if you're watching this video and you like us, you think I'm attractive, you think Steven has a funny laugh, hit that little subscribe button, hit the little bell every time we upload, and you'll hit it, a little ringling. It's going to be a good time. And then we can get a custom URL.
And I don't know what blower whine sounds like on the little boxer motor, but I've also never heard blower whine sound bad on anything. So I'm about it, kid.
It sounds better than the boxer itself, I'll tell you that much. You want to talk about one of the worst sounding 4-cylinders ever, right? I don't know what Subaru did to mess up the FA20, Steven, but my EJ 251, right, the little single slammer in the RS, did not sound that bad.
You are 100% correct. So everybody talks about, and I've talked about this, the turbo Subarus, the EJ turbo noise has to do with a complete and utter bullshit exhaust design, exhaust manifold and up pipe design.
Packaging.
Complete and utter bullshit.
Right.
And for all you guys that say, like, I love my factory header noise. That's cool, bro. I also love my PD blower noises. It's still bullshit.
Yeah. I mean,
one primary is like 8 inches long and the other one is like 3.5 feet long.
Well, that's the other thing too, is like if Subaru thought that the unequal length was so awesome, then how come all their high performance cars have equal length? Look at all the Type RAs,
right? Like
they're equal length.
Shit just does not work. That said, even so, I had equal length headers on my Subaru, and you had equal length headers, I think, on your RS as well, right?
Yes, I did. I also had a ported intake manifold and bigger throttle body and some other stuff that kind of made it more of a.
So EJs with equal length headers still sound great. They still sound like boxers. They make cool noises. They just don't quite have the tractor-esque blat of the unequal length Subarus, but they still sound good. Something happened to the FA cars, though. They don't sound like Subarus anymore. And I'm not 100% sure why. Maybe we can get Tyler to chime in on this one. He's got an FA car.
They don't even sound good. Well, but the FA turbo, it's like the whole thing with the V6 appliance vehicles. The V6 turbos sound different because of the turbo. And the FA20 doesn't sound bad. It definitely doesn't sound like the Boxer Rumble because I think it's equal length, right? Because they're front mounted.
Yeah, they've got the turbo out in front of the crank.
I don't know. I just remember driving Terran's WRX on his tune, and it makes good, smooth linear power, does not make a loud noise, and doesn't make a bad noise. Tell you what, though, I want to talk about 4-cylinder turbos that did sound good or do sound good, Steven. Veloster N.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes the good pop, pop, crack, crack.
Albert Bierman was like, "Oh, we're trying to do that for blower efficiency and keeping turbo up during the gear change, and we just so happened to got the backfires." I don't care, man. Good on you.
Good on you. Speaking of that, along that same vein,
okay,
the Fiat Abarth does the same thing. I don't care if it doesn't make any horsepower.
Oh, even that's what the Firefly motor, right? The 1.6. Yeah,
1.4.
1.4. You're right.
Multi-air.
Even smaller, the multi-air.
It's in the Fiata too, and it does the same thing in the Fiata.
Yeah, JC has
in
that.
The Abarth ones of those.
Well, not even the Abarth because it has the exhaust, but JC took his Lusso poor boy spec,
yeah,
and he got the I forgot what brand it is, but he got like the Monte Carlo exhaust for it or whatever else, and it does the same thing. It
sounds cool.
Yeah, I don't know why it has the sauce and why the FA20 doesn't. And have you heard the new FA24 in the new BRZ? You seen all those videos?
I have not.
So it sounds a little better, but I can't help but thinking that's more exhaust baffling and resonance tuning than it is the engine itself.
Could be.
So
very well could be.
We'll leave that up to the audience, I guess.
Tangents there about exhaust notes, but yeah.
FA20. Not. We're done. That was it.
That's it.
Why does the FA20 sound so bad? I don't know.
Why does the FA20 sound so bad and the Boxster 4-cylinder sound so good?
Well, like
the Boxster.
The 2ZZ sounds great, right? The F20 and the F22C sound great. The H22 sounded great. Even the D16, right? Single slammer Honda engines. Sure, they're the ricey hot boy fart cannon, haha Honda noise, but that for 4-cylinder, like,
it wasn't a bad noise.
No,
it wasn't a good noise, but it wasn't a bad noise.
They get bad when you have like the shorty and a tubular header through the hood. Although I'll contest this again, people. If your NA Honda Civic is running 12 seconds, you're not going to impress anybody besides car nerds who admit that, hey, your 1.6 liter is running 12 seconds on a quarter mile. That's kind of cool. But that's it. You're not getting laid.
Craig with the shots fired.
Shots
fired.
It is kind of cool, right? No lie, it's kind of cool. While we're talking on 4-cylinders, Neon SRT4, good sounding engine, bad sounding engine.
Oh hell yeah! So I'm obviously heavily biased here because I was with the Neon stuff back in the day, as it were. But so if anybody that doesn't know this, the Neon SRT4, my lovingly favorite Skittle, does not have a muffler from the factory. It just doesn't. They have the turbo and a resonator and the cat, obviously. And it was determined during the prototyping R&D that it met the noise requirement with the resonator and the cat. So they shipped it that way. Because I love Dodge.
This is back when Dodge was cool.
They were like, "Oh, cool, we're done." I can see the R&D guys for 2000s Dodge just being like, "All right, let's see how much muffler we need to put on it." Oh, sweet, we're done. Now they do kind of sound like turds at low throttle, and especially at idle.
Yeah,
it's a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder. Like they shake a little. They kind of sound like turds. But they sound cool under boost.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I love the fact that Dodge 4-cylinder sound cool. Muffler. Nah, we don't need that.
And honestly, the only time that 4-cylinders sound cool when not under load is when you have more turbo spoolie noises than you do engine. So you have this jet turbine. Otherwise, it's just a 4-cylinder. Unless you're a Honda. Because I was so convinced those sound great.
At light throttle, they don't sound great. S2000's cruising around like $3,000 at part throttle. It's not a good noise.
Oh, freaking Honda Accord. That's what it is. I just made some.
Yeah, it's not good.
Just made so many people mad. How about the old like DCOE side draft? engines from way back in the day.
So that's a weird one, right? Because I feel this kind of way about the Miata BP motor. It makes a cool noise. I know it doesn't make any power, and I get that, but it makes a cool noise.
We could say the same thing about the 4AGE, right? Like it in stock 2-valve form doesn't make.
I do. 100% do. It makes a cool noise. And the Miata reminds me a lot, and it should, of the old British stuff like the 1600 Triumphs and such.
Yeah.
It's a very mechanical noise, and it works for them.
Yep. Yeah.
It's all whirry and mechanical, and it's good. And I don't know, man. A lot of that stuff didn't sound great, but it kind of did.
So I have a contestant for you for one of the best.
Okay, shoot.
One of the best NA 4-cylinder sounds. Oh, I forgot the engine code. Shoot. It's the 2.3 liter 16-valve Cosworth motor they put in Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, the 190E 2.3 Evolution.
Well, not even just the Evolution, just the Cosworth. Right? So the 2.3 16-valve Cosworth.
It's a good mill. I don't know if I'd put it on the top of my pile of 4-cylinders.
I would. I'm also slated.
You are, my friend. You are.
Hey, if you can be slightly biased for the Neon, I can be slightly biased for this wonderful Jewel.
Oh, no, the Neon sounded good for what it was. I would never say it was like one of the top 5 best-sounding 4-bangers. Ever. Yeah. It sounded good for a tractor motor that made a ton of horsepower.
Let's see here, Cosworth. So here it is. The old 16-valve. It is the M102.983 motor.
God, I love Mercedes' naming conventions. It's so German.
And then the 2.5, which is the one that you really want because it has a double row timing chain and bigger displacement and bigger cubes are bigger cubes. It's the M102.990, which was good.
Yeah. So I would say
200 horsepower.
I don't know, man. It'd be a hard call. Part of me wants to be with the JDM fanboys and say the Beams motor is probably one of my favorite sounding NA 4-cylinders ever.
It's good, but it's just a 3 STGE. That's it.
No turbo, but yes.
Or sorry, the 3 SGE. Yeah. But Beams head. That's the big thing, right?
The Beams head on a 3 SGE. Yeah. It's got a cool noise.
It was something they redesigned the heads.
Yeah. Yeah, the Beams motors sound cool. The 2ZZ's on up there, but I don't know if it's one of my faves.
I would say it is.
I mean, it's way on up there.
It hits that crossover, and it rips.
Yeah. I just don't know if it's like the top, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And no doubt there's going to be some person out there that's going to be like, well, I think that my engine from, an Alfa Romeo, blah, 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 sounds good. You have to forgive us. We're U.S. born. We don't have the joys.
Yeah, we don't get to hear those ripping around, so I'm sorry. Yeah, right.